parts that you're most famous for as being a tree. Um,
Yes.
how do you end up playing Jabe in the first, the remake of Doctor Who in the second story? How did that part come along?
Oh my goodness. Well, like all the parts, and for everything, whether it's a commercial or a voiceover or whatever, I mean, your agent just has auditions for you and you go up for them. And I remember going up for this Doctor Who thing, and I thought, Doctor Who, yes, because I used to watch it when I was little, and I just remember my first Doctor was Tom Baker, and I was terrified of Doctor Who at that time when I was little. I remember my brother and I used to my brother used to sit on the sofa and I used to stop behind the sofa because I was just waiting for the Daleks to come out, and they terrified me. And then a few minutes in, my brother would be behind the sofa with me watching. And I just thought, oh wow, it's that show. And I just thought, gosh, no one's going to watch that. It'll never catch on. This new generation, nobody. I wasn't aware of Doctor Who as something that people followed, and that there were books about it, and that it was this whole. I didn't have that sense. I just thought it was this old show that they wanted to remake. But I mean, I'm up for anything. I was never sort of. It wasn't that I wasn't selective, but in a way I wasn't, because my agent was already selective. So I just did everything that came up. I auditioned. I had a go. Um, so I remember the audition, and I remember getting the role and actually having a rehearsal, because that's a very rare thing for TV, or at least it was for me. We didn't usually have rehearsals, and I actually had a rehearsal for the Doctor Who, and it was lovely because we also got to discuss it, and it was Russell was there, and yeah, we just got to sort of discuss what was happening, and how how I was seeing what was happening, and what were the implications of what was happening. So all of that was very interesting. But I do remember finding the whole thing interesting but kind of bizarre, and thinking, yeah, no one's gonna really, yeah, no one's gonna
No, no,
watch this.
no one remembers it at all, do they? They never mention it anymore. So how long
I
did the
was
make?
right.
How long did it take to put the makeup on and do all that sort of? Because you were sort of the first person to have all those prosthetics and be a major cast. So
Yes, to have the work.
you were the experiment. How did it run on you?
Yeah, that was just bizarre, actually, because just rewind a little bit. I saw some early sketches of what they were thinking about for my character, and what I saw was gorgeous dress and like a headpiece. I thought, I'm going to be like a beautiful woodland princess. It's going to be fabulous. And I remember going for the costume fitting, yes, because my daughter was very little. She was something like 18 months, and I got to go along, and they were all so lovely. And I had my costume fitting, and it wasn't the costume as you see it. It's they sort of make it out of this kind of lovely white material, as they're just kind of getting the shape of things. So all of that was going on, and I saw some preliminary sketches about what they were thinking about for my character. So when they mentioned prosthetics, and I had no experience of prosthetics whatsoever and didn't really know anything about it, I was thinking, yes, mythical headdress thing probably going to come up my head. And I didn't, and the penny didn't drop even when they were saying, yes, so you're going to come along, and we're going to take us a mold of your face. And I was thinking, oh, this was very elaborate stuff on my headdress. And so I went along, and they did the mold of my face, and it was several sittings. And then finally, the big day, they said, it's going to take us, many hours to do this. Still didn't clock. And then all these pieces that were coming onto my face, and they were showing me, and, it all had to be glued on. And the whole process, the first time around, it took 6 hours. 6 hours. 6 hours. Oh my goodness. And then when I'd finished, it was kind of like, da-da, see yourself. I was horrified. I'm like, I'm a monster. just wasn't what I was expecting, darling. I thought I was going to be beautiful. And 6 hours, and
what do you do for 6 hours?
sit, chat. Really, they were lovely and so interesting. And I had so many questions. But yeah, it's long. It's really long, and each piece it's glued onto your face. Really, it's the whole thing is sort of glued in bits onto your face. It's not one mask or one piece. It's lots of pieces. The whole thing is, and then afterwards, it has to be removed. Now, I know that they do self-adhesive wallpaper now, but back in the day, and probably I'm still sure they do, I haven't wallpapered anywhere since I was little and had to help my mum, who was the decorator. But you have to take this stuff off with that, what is that flat metallic thing that you have to scrape the walls with? And that's how you take off the prosthetics. It's really like a solution. It's like nail varnish remover stuff and like this thing, and you scrape it off, and it takes forever. So it took, I think the first time it took 6 hours to put the whole lot on, and then it took 2 hours to take the whole lot off. And it's, whoa, it's intense. And your skin doesn't love it. It's not like a day at the spa.
So how many days? How many days of filming do you need to put it on for? Do you know how many days it was?
I'm trying to remember now. I think the whole thing we shot in the end in 2 weeks. I might have got that wrong, but I think so. And I think it was 5 days each week that was happening. It was, yeah.
How fast did they get by the end?
By the end, I think we got it down to 5 hours, four and a half, 5 hours.
Still a long time
in the end, and an hour and a half to take it off, I think, in the end. So that was how we. So of course, each day, even though it was 2 weeks, each day's filming started very, very early for me, as you can imagine. So I was half asleep in the makeup chair while they began, which was fine by me because at home I had little ones. I was used to early starts, and here I got coffee and people fussing over me. I just had to sit there and close my eyes. So I didn't object. Everyone was sort of saying, "Oh, sorry, it's really early and everything." I was thinking, "No, this is great. I don't have to do anything." So, but yeah, it's a full on the mastery, the creativity that goes into every part of it is just awesome, and just to be a part of it is incredible.
Now, you spent most of your time working closely with Christopher Eccleston. I mean, the two of you had scene after scene and very powerful, important scenes for the show. Not that you understand much of it, but in terms of the whole folklore of what was to come afterwards was in your scenes. What was it like working with Chris?
Oh, amazing. He is the nicest man. He's just so down to earth and funny and lovely. I mean, you just, I didn't know what I was expecting, because I watched Chris and it was just like, oh my gosh, it's Christopher Eccleston. It's just like, wow. And he's just so humble and just really, really lovely man. I think when we turned up for the read-through, he bought me a little plant, which was the cutest thing. He bought me this little plant, and he was just, oh, so nice. Such a lovely guy. Just really, really beautiful to work with him. It was lovely to watch him interact with everyone, from the people who are doing the makeup to the extras. I mean, there were a lot of extras. We had a lot of really big scenes. We had the little children who were painted blue, and and he was lovely to everybody and charming to everyone and interested in everyone, which is always really, it's just beautiful to see. It really is, and it just makes for a really lovely environment where everyone is working together rather than here is the star, your position is here. None of that. It was lovely. A very, very positive experience working with him.